critical political primaries across the nation. Voters heading to the polls in 5 states yesterday with several key contests testing Donald Trump's political clout. All eyes on Pennsylvania's Republican Senate primary, the nail-biting race still too close to call, with Trump's pick, TV's Dr. Oz, neck and neck with former hedge fund CEO David McCormick. And in the Democratic primary, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman coming out on top just days after suffering a stroke, spending Election Day, actually, in surgery. Let's bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer. He's in Pittsburgh, along with ABC's Alex Presha, who's in Philly. For more, Alex, both McCormick and Dr. Oz optimistic, speaking at election night parties. So what's at stake in this race, and when can we actually see a result?
Well, Kira, potentially what's at stake is control of the Senate. Democrats have identified this seat as their best chance, or one of their best chances of picking up an additional seat. And Republicans here are going through a little bit of a battle as to ideology versus their best shot in November. And so what we've seen here is Dr. Oz, who won that coveted endorsement from President Trump. It boosted him in the polls, but it also made him a target, right? And so he's seen a lot of his competitors, chiefly David McCormick, who have targeted him, spent a lot of money to bring those numbers back down. And right now we have a neck-and-neck race, both candidates coming in with about 31% of the vote. But yes, we were at the Oz headquarters yesterday. There was an air of confidence there, certainly building the night as he closed that gap. I talked with the McCormick campaign earlier on. They said that they were encouraged by the way the poll numbers are trending. But what's interesting here is that we've seen David McCormick, who's focused in specifically on issues. He talked about how he believes inflation will be a key decider for many of these Pennsylvania Republicans that he believes that he resonates better with them on. Meanwhile, Dr. Oz positioning himself as a person who has the best shot at beating the Democratic nominee come November.
So, Devin, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman voted absentee from his hospital bed yesterday. We saw the actual pictures. What's the latest on his condition now, and how could that affect his campaign with the midterms on the horizon?
Yeah, Kira, John Fetterman is in the hospital 200 miles from here in Pittsburgh, where his campaign was headquartered this morning. He's still recovering from that surgery you mentioned yesterday to have a pacemaker and defibrillator installed. Not the way that campaign wanted to start the general election, although we have been told by some staff that, you know, perhaps this is a good thing that the Republican side Alex was talking about is still scrambled and undecided. It buys them a little bit of time. This is supposed to be the most expensive and hotly contested race in the country this cycle. As Alex was mentioning, a lot on the line here for Democrats. This is seen as their best chance to pick up a seat in the United States Senate and win control of the Senate, keep control of the Senate in 2023. And Democrats here yesterday, Kira, put all their chips on John Fetterman, despite the fact that he was in the hospital, won in a landslide. He is an unconventional candidate, 6'9", has tattoos, curses on the trail, wears gym shorts 365 days of the year. He is a progressive candidate, but doesn't entirely fit the label. His platform features legalizing marijuana. He wants to expand health care, eliminate the filibuster. So Democrats rallying around Fetterman despite that hospitalization, now hoping that his recovery can be quick and that he can get back out here for what will be a really tough fight, Kira.
Yeah, indeed. Alex, you know, former President Trump's pick won the Republican primary for Pennsylvania. Governor Doug Mastriano, you know, he pushed Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen, and he also attended that Stop the Steal rally in Washington on January 6th. So what do you think his plans are now for the state's election systems if he wins in November?
Well, Kira, what's really interesting about this particular race, and bear with me because we have a cop car going by, but the governor also chooses the Secretary of State, and so that's why so much attention for Pennsylvania elections is being given to this governor's race. And so we know that Doug Mastriano, he's a retired Army colonel, but he's laid out at least a 4-point plan here on how he plans to overhaul elections, which includes the establishment of an Office of Election Crimes and Security. He would increase the penalty for illegal ballot harvesting. There would also be an annual statewide audit, which would include looking into ballot chain custody protocol, voter registration systems, poll books, and also voting machines. And then the last thing, and this is something that's really critical, any changes to election law via court settlement, he would push that they would require the approval of the General Assembly. And so, I mean, you're looking at a very big potential overhaul of the voting system here in Pennsylvania if he's elected in November.
Well, after what we saw happen last time, there definitely needs to be something done. Devin, you know, Mastriano will face off against Attorney General Josh Shapiro, who ran unopposed in the Democratic primary. Some Democrats were hoping for Mastriano to get the nomination, believing Shapiro can appeal to more voters in a general election. What does that race look like now?
Yeah, Alex alluded to some of that, Kira. I mean, Josh Shapiro, running unopposed, was running ads against Mastriano, linking him to Donald Trump in this primary, trying to sort of drive voters to choose Mastriano. Democrats here think that they have the upper hand in this race, and the significance of it, if you're not from Pennsylvania, is because of what Alex was talking about, and that's because the governor here gets to pick the Secretary of State, of course, and that has big ramifications for how votes are counted in this state, one of the critical swing states, not just for these midterms, but for the presidential election coming up as well. So a lot on the line there. This will be a referendum on Trumpism in this governor's race, but it will also be a referendum to watch, Kira, on President Biden and those COVID policies. Josh Shapiro is an ally of Democratic Governor Tom Wolf here, who has been criticized for implementing some of those COVID mask bans and mask mandates and the like. So a lot to watch in that race, both for the politics and the voting implications here in Pennsylvania, and also for what it means about the Democratic Party nationally, Kira.
All right, Devin, Alex, guys, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.